I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith just survived her leadership review with a 91.5% rating, which is kind of unheard of for Alberta premiers since the days of Ralph Klein. Part of that has to do with the dynamic of how Alberta was basically a one-party state for most of those years, where the conflicts were internal to the party rather than external because opposition didn't pose as much of a threat to the governing party of the day, which is how they managed to survive nearly 5 decades in power. That all changed when Rachel Notley won in 2015, and the collapse of the Progressive Conservative Party and the rise of the United Conservative Party that Danielle Smith now leads. The dynamics have changed because not only is the UCP no longer a broad tent centrist amorphous party like the PC party was, which gathered so many people around the province that it was very middle of the road in so many respects. Whereas when Jason Kenney built the UCP, it was very much a vehicle for the more hard right conservatives within the province to exert control and to exclude those centrist voices. Now, Kenney miscalculated because those hard right voices that he essentially gave control of the party to objected to his trying to be centrist in certain occasions, and therefore voted him out during his own leadership review. He considered this the lunatics taking over the asylum. I've tended to use the joke that Kenney invited the face-eating leopards into the house, made them a nice warm bed with the intention of turning them on his enemies, and they soon decided that his face was right there and looked pretty tasty. Danielle Smith has managed to avoid that so far, but that's because she's pandered a lot to these far-right, fairly fringe voices within the party. This includes things like her revisions to the Alberta Bill of Rights, which is full of a lot of anti-vax nonsense and some other conspiracy-related aspects that the Manning panel that she also commissioned had come back with in a post-COVID context. As well, there's been things like her attack on trans people, because that is playing into culture war aspects that this lunatic fringe of the party is really invested in. And therefore, the Danielle Smith who used to defend LGBT rights years ago is now the Danielle Smith who is outright attacking trans people, because that is how she knows that she's going to survive her leadership contest. And she did survive this time, but I have real concerns that this isn't going to be sustainable, because these particular voices who control the party, because there are not enough centrist voices who are containing them within the party structure, are going to have escalating demands, which will include intruding on areas of federal jurisdiction. We're already hearing them talk about things like they want concealed carry laws in Alberta, which I don't think they could possibly get away with. But these kinds of things are going to start mounting the longer that Danielle Smith is premier, and the more that this particular party is structured in such a way that these voices are given the overwhelming control of it. So Danielle Smith may have won the day this time, but we'll see how long she can carry it on, given the pressures that are on her. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.